17, I'm going to say. Yes, episode 17 of season 4 of The Paper Thing with me, the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy and also on TikTok at Useless Conquest. Today's show is a 3-paper show with a 1 magazine special. Special today is a White Dwarf magazine. The papers up for review are bear with me, the Times, the Telegraph, and the Daily Mail. I've decided not to do the Sun today as I feel like we do it too often, and so not going to do that today. Right. I haven't actually told the world that the show is happening, so that's a foolish maneuver on my part. Let me do that. The Paper Thing. My daily media review show is now live. The 3 papers up for deconstruction and at White Dwarf. That's not the magazine. And White Dwarf up for review in the magazine special. Tune in now. www.twitch.tv/Broken Bottle Boy. Always got to be careful it doesn't break that up, and it has. There we go, Broken Bottle Boy. Boom. Fucking thing. Right. Hey Slinker, how are you doing? Good to see you. Sorry that today's newsletter was so massively annoying. Stop breaking the link. God, I hate this. Every day I write the Twitch link, and every day, there we go, Twitter decides to break my name up in it. Even though my username on Twitter is that word. How fucking annoying. Right, gotta drop this into the Discord, and then we'll get annoying but necessary. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. It's tomorrow I hope to do a funny newsletter because the past 2 have been absolutely bleak. Stream happening at here. Show is live. Bingo. Bango. Done. Right. So yeah, we're starting off. Hey, Comrade Wolfie, how you doing? Good. Well, I'm glad you read it. Thank you for that. Hey, Yuan, how you doing? Right, so we're going to start off today with White Dwarf magazine. Well, I'm pleased that your personal room is excited, Slinker, because I have not broken the covers of a White Dwarf magazine for a long time. Oh, Ged coins in the chat. Loving the Ged coins. Warhammer Wednesday, but it's on a Tuesday. I know, the confusion. Hello, Bad Motivator, or should I say, valued subscriber, Bad Motivator. Good to see you. Yes, today we're doing White Dwarf magazine. That is today's magazine special. Person in the room is downstairs on a meeting and glad to be avoiding White Dwarf, but there you go. Right, so straight inside here you get introduced to the White Dwarf team, which it says, from their secret sanctum hidden deep within the Warhammer studio, the White Dwarf team works tirelessly to craft everyone's favourite Warhammer hobby magazine each month. Right, and then the editor's letter says, stay golden, demons. Definitely been an unusual year for painting competitions like Golden Demon. So I'm very happy to present the first part of the Golden Demon Winners Challenge in this issue. If you're not familiar with White Dwarf's own painting competition, it's a elite invitational in which we invite recent Golden Demon winners to compete against each other to a certain theme. The competition's theme this time was Faith Under Fire, and in a twist on recent competitions, we supplied our painters with a selection of models from the Sisters of Battle line. Nice. Anti-elf discrimination person in the room. Fancy Elf Boys. Good afternoon, Industrial Pet. Good to see you. Right, so anyway, contents page there. What are we promised in this month's issue? Galactic War Hosts, Forge World Metallica. Painting and modelling inspiration for the most metallic of all the Forge worlds. The Triforge Cluster, the industrial worlds of the Charendon sector, come under attack by heretics. The Great Drowning as the Death Guard lays siege to Septios. The water levels begin to rise. The Death of Industry, new rules for fighting across the many varied battlegrounds of the Charendon sector, includes new Crusade relics. Echoes from the Warp, members of the Warhammer 40,000 team join us to talk about 40k hobby bingo. Golden Demon Winners Challenge, Faith Under Fire, we've already heard about that. Tome Celestial, the battle for Teapot's Eye. Join us in the realm of metal, where the forces of order and chaos battle over an ancient artifact. Sort of sounds like every day here on the stream. War for Teapot's Eye, 4 linked battle plans enabling you to fight the epic battles that raged around Teapot's Eye. Anvil of Chaos, create your own demonic overlords using the character building tools of Anvil of Chaos. Tale of 4 Warlords, Glory Points, Path to Victory, Heavy Metal Masterclass, non-metallic metals. Heavy Metal painter Borja Garcia explains how to paint non-metallic metals using the Primarch Lion L. Johnson as his canvas. War of the God Machines, that's an amazing title for an article. The Liber Xenologists join us for an in-depth look at Janus Drake's most excellent and informative treatise, the Liber Xenologists, in the Black Library. There's a thing about, if you're playing the Middle-earth strategy game, how to make stone trolls. Chronicles of the Wanderer, Protect with Honor. Caradon Skyfleet comes under attack, but their fortunes are spared by the intervention of an unknown warrior. And inside the studio, we talk about some of the models that they've painted and the games they played in the Warhammer studio this month. Right, so here's some cool painted stuff. A Blood Angels Leviathan Dreadnought. Lady Alinda, the Mortak of Grief, and some Imperial Fists, which does also sound like a sex toy. Nice painting, yeah. Moving on. Model of the month is an Aventis Firestrike. It's pretty cool. Tyrannid Hive Tyrant. I like this thing where they pretend that you're like asking for advice from this like troll guy. Worlds of Warhammer delves into the background of the Age of Sigmar in the 41st millennium, looking at how stories are created and legends are born. This time, Phil Kelly, the archetypal background writer, talks about archetypes. How archetypal. I like that. That's a funny intro. I love behind the scenes stuff like that. It's really cool. Yeah, that Hive Tyrant looks fantastic. So anyway, this good. This like 6 or 7 pages about this guy talking about how they write the archetypes. Just a badass DPS of Warhammer 40k stuff. What's happening in this one? In the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war, plus rules for fighting in the Charendon war zone, a modelling and painting article about Forge War Metallica, and the Golden Demon Winners Challenge. It's just a badass spread, isn't it? Forge World Metallica, Galactic Warhost is a series of modelling and painting articles focusing on the many factions and sub-factions of the 41st millennia. In this installment, we journey deep into the Charendon sector in search of the Skitarii legions of Forge World Metallica. I mean, this is some fucking incredible painting. I don't have the patience to paint these kind of things. Metallica has been invaded many times over the millennia, although it has always prevailed. Since the opening of the Great Rift, demonic assaults have become more commonplace. That Vanguard is badass looking. Have I got any Warhammer background? A little bit when I was a teenager, but like again, my trouble is I'm not very good at painting things, but it's fun, and I like admire when people can paint models really well. So this is cool. Like, I like the way they've done this. It's like a breakdown to show you how to paint various models. So a Skitarii Ranger, Cataphrone Breacher. Like, I like this. Like, they break the model down into its sections and give you a close up of how each part is painted. So this is cool. So there's quite a few pages of guides to how to paint things. Like, this macro carried explorator. It's tricky to say out loud. That it's just like a cool tank, isn't it? I like that. Hey SK, you join us in the midst of White Dwarf. It's just like, even if you weren't into Warhammer, right? The pictures in this are just badass. The art is amazing. Mick was too busy being a top shagger to engage in Warhammer. If there was any top shagging, it certainly didn't happen till I was in sixth form. And university. I was very much a massive nerd at school, just more of a record nerd. It's a beautifully made magazine. Like, I just like, obviously they go big on the tech. Some of the pages are a bit too text heavy, but the imagery is just fantastic. Like, there's so much cool looking stuff in here. Right, there's this like a big guide for playing a particular part of the game. Those bits go on for a long time. Echoes from the War, regular column about rules, tactics, and ongoing development of Warhammer 40k, presented by the team's games developers. This month, Robin's got something new, a painting challenge that you can all join in at home. So it's like a bingo challenge where it like encourages you to paint various different things. I love this behind the scenes stuff. I really do. All that kind of intense detailed work involved in painting these is really meditative. Yeah, I used to do Airfix models. Like, I used to like to paint Airfix paints and stuff. But yeah, I never had a great patience. Who did this to me? Who made me do Warhammer? Well, I believe, yeah, various. Well, you know, it was the request came in from Comrade Wolfie. Yeah, Comrade Wolfie was the boy. I keep getting confused because on the Discord, Comrade Wolfie has use of weapons, which is an excellent username. Right, anyway, I like behind the scenes stuff. It's really interesting how they put stuff together. Like, more of that here, like, from the photographer and a writer, and another photographer. Like, it's cool. It's really, like, that's interesting. Here's the painting challenge thing. A guy called Guido Gunther has submitted his entry called Surprise Attack. For my entry, I decided to pit a fallen battle sister against a monstrous pink horror. Again, a lot of these do sound like sex toys. It may be a demon, but it's a witch too, and the battle sisters really don't like psychers. So there you go. That's pretty cool looking. Another one is called Last Hope by Jonathan DeVos. He says, for my entry, I want to create a Last Stand themed diorama featuring a small squad of Sisters of Battle defending the ruins of their sacred temple against a horde of poxwalkers. Again, sounds like a sex toy. What's the other one? Faith Under Fire by Ben Gowling. I depicted a battle sister on the receiving end of automatic gunfire, as shown by the bullet impacts in the wall behind her. She stands focused on her faith, clutching her rosarius, unscathed as the salvo miraculously misses her. I mean, some of these are cooler than others. Massacre at the Sanctuary by Angelo Di Cello. My idea was to depict the last stand of the Order of Our Martyred Lady following the attack on Sanctuary 101. Classic story from the pages of White Dwarf and the original codex, Sisters of Battle. They look more badass. Warhammer names are verb, noun, verbers. Absolutely. Sir, We Found Her by Sebastian Cole. So what is this? In my imagination, the Sister Superior has gone missing during a battle in the jungle. In the aftermath, 2 Primaris infiltrators have been sent on a sneaky mission to find her, but I didn't want her to be a regular casualty. Even beaten down and unconscious, she's still shining example of the Emperor's finest. I mean, the detail is pretty badass. Doom of Vandrire by Aidan Ferrante. My diorama depicts the final moments before Alicia Dominica beheads the rogue High Lord of Terror Goj Vandir, thereby bringing an end to the Reign of Blood. Reign of Blood. For me, it's always Reign in Blood. There you go. Met those guys once, actually. Anyway, from the maelstrom of a sundered world, the 8 realms were born, and with their birth began a war to claim them. This issue, Be'lakor has his eyes set upon the powerful orrery known as Teapot's Eye. I mean, that's pretty fucking cool. I don't know what that dragon thing is called. I'm sure it's not just called a dragon. Anyway, a lot of shit going on there. Hey Pudsey Cat, how you doing? We believe in you. Also, if you're not in the Discord yet, get into the Discord, because it's a good place to chat when the stream is not on. There's the Discord link. Anyway, big long article, like, where they tell this as the story, like this proper like storytelling about it, written out as a story, like a narrative, including some awesome images again. It's raining blood, hallelujah! It's raining blood, indeed. So right, this is the whole like story about this particular battle. It's it's like entertainingly written out. Then there's details on how to fight this battle if you're playing it in Warhammer. So what's it called? Like, if you like, this is very good value magazine if you're into this, if you're into Warhammer and, you know, assorted role-playing games, tabletop games, I guess. There's another episode of another story. Let's see. Yeah, just people talking about their different campaigns and how they played them. The host of Excess. After receiving visions of greatness and grandeur from the Lord of Excess, Callum set about assembling a mighty army of Hedonites to do his bidding. The first to ally themselves to his cause were a warband of demons, led by the infamous Sil-esque. Okay. The host of Excess is what I call me and my mates with a bag of cans. Ditto. Dave Sanders, senior games developer in the boxed games division at Warhammer and lead rules writer for Warhammer Underworlds, writes about this particular game. Curated by games developers of the Box Game Studio, it delves into the development of the game, plus rules, tactics, and gameplay. This is such a smart way of like marketing games that you might not already have. But that looks cool. I mean, but you know, I feel like I don't have the time to understand how it works. It's cool. Another really cool looking image. The last thing I want to mention is the Vanguard format, which is pretty perfect for new players who want to try organized play. The Vanguard format uses cards and warbands from the current season of Warhammer Underworlds. I don't know what a warband is. Please tell me in the chat, Comrade Wolfie. More Path to Glory stuff. In this edition of Path to Glory, Dave Sanders, whose soul remains captive in a Shard of Shade class, incredible that he's managed to do this article, presents an in-depth tactical guide to the 2 warbands in the Warhammer Underworld starter set. These are fucking cool looking. It's like a small version of Warhammer. Oh, okay, cool. Like you only need about 6 to 8 models. All right, I see. That's how they lure you in. It's the first doses free version. Yeah, I just had cards when I was a teenager. I never. The cards were big for a while. There's a thing from this person. Again, I love the way they do the painting guides. They're really well done. The stage showing how to build up to painting this thing is cool, is well done. Thanks, Chronotherm, for that's helpful. Yeah, I get it now. This is fucking incredible. Look at all of these in this image. That is pretty amazing. Hey, Mr. Gump. I know the class discourse. I don't know why Grace Blakely had to fire that one out now. Yeah, that is a lot of look at the lot of lads there. A lot of armored lads. This is apparently the Legio Infernus, the Fire Masters. This guy says, Jason Lee says, one day I was talking to Owen Patton about how I should paint my models. He'd already decided to paint his Titans as the Legio Presagius, the true messengers. And he'd been looking for someone to represent their arch nemesis, the Fire Masters. He knew it was a long-term Salamanders collector, so painting flames was right up my street. Well, this is good. I think it keeps these boys off the street, doesn't it? Look at the detail. I mean, that's pretty fucking badass. Yeah. Oh, okay, and right over the page, here's his mate Owen Patton with the Legio Presagius, like the other side of that battle. I mean, the detail is fucking incredible. I'm really enjoying just looking at the pictures. I mean, I'm dangerously close to getting into this. You know, dangerously close to getting into this. I won't, because person in the room would be very unhappy with more detritus getting in the house. The coins, even the one coin coming, is an issue. Hangers-on are vital to the survival of any Necromunda gang. Well, who doesn't know that? Without rogue docs to patch up fighters, ammo jacks to check their weapons, and sloppers to feed them, most gangs wouldn't last long at all. But what happens when hangers-on get caught in the crossfire? Okay, so this is another story. Different scenarios that you can play. Okay. Oh god, the class discourse has made it into the chat here. It never can be escaped. Right, in the Black Library, the Liber Xenologists. Many of the aliens that lurk in the vastness of space, waiting for their moment to eradicate mankind. Fortunately for us humans, rogue trader Janus Drake has amassed a fair amount of knowledge on the Xenos, as presented in his thesis, the Liber Xenologists. Okay, so this is like... Alright, extensive and beautifully illustrated guide to Warhammer 40k's many varied and unusual alien life forms. Alright, cool. Okay, so... yeah. Also, I love this is like the character that they pretend wrote that book. That's fucking cool. Like, he looks like a badass. Guardian drone. Okay, this... That guy freaks me out. Yeah, I don't have the money to play Warhammer. That's an incredible illustration. The illustrations are just really... Like, I could just enjoy this from that basis. Right, now we're onto Middle-earth. The discovery of the stone trolls by the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, is an iconic scene in both the novel and the film. So why not recreate it? Middle-earth architect Rob Alderman. What a great job. Like, you just meet people and go, oh, what's your job? Oh, I'm a Middle-earth architect. Shows how he turned Tom, Bert, and William to stone. Again, cool. It's like a step-by-step guide thing. Love it. It's fun to see, like, the detail of how they do this stuff. Another story. This one is called Protect with Honor. Sailing through the darkness of the Ulguan sky, a Caradon's fleet is headed back to Barak Zilfin with a valuable treasure. Ancient enemies lurk in the shadows, waiting for the moment to strike. But as the Caradons soon find out, not everything is as it seems in Ulgu. You wouldn't expect it to be, would you? If you're flying to Ulgu, you think, well, that's probably not all is not as it seems there. Anyway, that story goes on for a while. They don't bother putting any pictures in that. Like, it's just pure narrative there. Tune in next time in White Dwarf for the continuation of the saga of the mysterious Durrodin hero. When it continues with part 5 of Chronicles of the Wanderer. I mean, I can't take the piss. I love and read 2000 AD on a weekly basis. You know, Lord of the Rings Warhammer are some nice models, but they're a bit out of date now. Why didn't they just fly the eagles to Mordor? I hate that shit when people do that thing. It's like the fucking, oh, how do orcs know? Do orcs have restaurants? Fucking concept of a menu thing. I don't give a fuck. I read 2000 AD. Yeah, I've read it on stream. There are copies of it scattered around the desk as well. The most recent one, Dread Story, A Penitent Man, is one of my favourite Dread stories in a long while. So anyway, and then at the end of the book, they talk about like what games they've been playing at the Warhammer studio, which is pretty cool. And this last picture is fucking badass. It's a yeah. So Dean Lettice, packaging designer, took advantage of time at home to tackle his paint pile. He's painted 74 orcs, a Gothmog, a Shagrat, the Mouth of Sauron, and 6 Morgul Knights. And painted 50 warriors of Minas Tirith. So yeah, it's cool looking. Obviously, he doesn't engage with any other humans while he's doing that. I presume that's a lot of work, but it's pretty fucking cool. Really cool picture on the back. Right, so look, do you know what's great about this, right? Obviously, this is effectively, in many ways, an ad for Warhammer, but there are no other ads in it, and for £6, if you're into this, or you just fucking love the art, I think it's pretty good. I found the stories entertaining. Yeah, so if you're a Warhammer person, it's like a 10 out of 10, I'd say, and if you're just a random person who likes fantasy art a bit, which I do, like a 7 or an 8. It's good. It's good. I think it's good. So there you go. Give me your scores for what you make of White Dwarf, and we will move on to the Telegraph, which is our first paper. 40,000 out of 10. Long live the God Empress's Chronotherm. A golden Ged out of 10 from Ged Station. Use of weapons, which I believe so. Comrade Wolfie has transitioned into use of weapons here too. Burger Orc, Kentucky Fried Orc, McOrcs, 40k out of 10. More informative to the Guardian. Orc Restaurants out of 10. Fix the name, love it, loving it. It's like you've just regenerated within the chat. I like it. Okay, so we're going to start with the Telegraph because it's the most annoying to manipulate. I was going to do the Sun. If you want to see the Sun's front page breakdown, it's on my Twitter. Go to the Medium, go to the media tweets, and you will see today's newspaper front page breakdowns. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do the 3 because as we just did Warhammer, that's taken up. White Dwarf, that's taken up a good half of the stream, but that's fine because it was use of weapons is request and it was well worth doing. I really enjoyed it. Right, so here we go. Daily Telegraph, front page of the Telegraph, top of the page. Good afternoon, Mark Kenosis. You just missed us going through White Dwarf, but the episode will be up on YouTube. What synths were you messing about with? Give me the details. I had to sell my synth a while back. I sell my Korg a year or so ago, and I'm still missing it. No problem, use of weapons. Thanks for suggesting it. I wouldn't have thought of it, and it was well worth doing. Okay, so top of the page, Brian E. Gordon on Prince Harry and the me you can't see. I don't know what that is. Let's see. I sold my Korg, not for coins. Well, for money, but sadly not for coins because I was skint, and I also had to sell my bass guitar, which I loved. I've got a replacement bass guitar that someone gave me, but it's not quite the same. Volker drum. I like Volkers. 2 Behringer Neutrons and a big modular rig. I'm jealous of this. I really am. Right, okay. Front page. It's up to all of us to exercise common sense. Telegraph just goes for a straight quote from Boris Johnson in the press conference yesterday. That story is actually largely factual. Inside Fashion Chugi, the 5 new items which reveal your age. It annoys me that the Telegraph even tries to be on trend like that. Use of weapons. Left your guitar in the UK and I thought I'll be back soon to pick it up. Then COVID and I haven't played for about 2 years now. Oh, that fucking sucks. What guitar have you got? I had an orange O bass, which I absolutely loved, and I'm so gutted that I had to sell it, and I don't have it anymore. And I now have, which was which was given to me by someone who didn't want it anymore. This Squire version of the P-Base, which I like a lot because, I just like it. It's A, because I didn't have to buy it, and B, because I'm just glad to have a base again. Anyway, front page of the Telegraph. Planning laws can be forced for good, says National Trust Chief. That's true. Hitachi urged to pay rail compensation bill. The usual unbalanced and, spun reports on Israel and the actions in Gaza. Comment from Sherelle Jacobs, the most starey woman in British newspapers. Tories should beware, their blue wall is built on sand. Has Kid in the Room shown an interest in music? A little bit, but her friend's little brother is really into it, and he's 5 going up 6. He's 6 now, and he's amazing on the piano and stuff. It's really cool. Use of weapons guitar. Nice left-handed electroacoustic. It's still forced left-handed people to use their right hands in Romania, so very hard to get a lefty guitar. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, it always makes me think of Kurt Cobain just turning his guitars upside down and how that ended up making the Jag Stang look weird and stuff. Anyway, yeah, Slinky Man, that sucks to have to be selling your camera lenses, particularly when you take such amazing photos. Right, moving on inside the paper. Suzanne Moore in the comment is writing, we're all class confused now, are we? Space Rate, meet the brothers competing to take off with Elon Musk, and social anxiety, how to handle re-entry panic. I wouldn't take advice from the Telegraph. Inside, picture of the whale that has became stranded in the Thames. It's a minke whale. Did they manage? Yeah, the whale didn't make it. That's really, really distressing and sad. It's a theory that Kurt playing his guitar upside down led to the stomach pain that led to his addiction. Yeah, I don't really follow. I don't follow with that opinion. And also, the thing about the stomach pain is the stomach pain was like acidic stomach pain thing from anxiety and stress and all that kind of things. But also, it is pretty clear that he started to use the stomach pain as more of an excuse for heroin rather than the reason for it. Yeah, very uncomfortable to play right-handed guitars left-handed. True. I don't buy it, but it is interesting. Yeah, fair dues, Mark. I do. The Jag Stang I like the Jag Stang as a guitar, but anyway, moving on. Sarah Napton, who I'm no fan of, the Science Telegraph says, even gloomiest modelers are optimistic now. Michael Deachkin in the sketch says, with the surreal solemnity, PM urges us to embrace caution when hugging. I wonder who the PM will be hugging that will soon end up causing, Carrie Simons to divorce him for a lot of money once they get married. Page 5, postnatal depression doubled in mothers isolated by lockdown. I can well believe that. Caribbean islands could be green listed next month. I suspect that'll be so that Boris can go and have another holiday paid for by who knows. Rail workers clicked on pay bonus email to find it was a security test. One of the most disgusting stories yesterday. Climate activist glues himself to dock at trial. This is Extinction Rebellion activist, one of whom glued himself to the dock during the court case yesterday. Typically, the papers are going very brutal on these people because their action was against the presses that are used to print papers, including the Sun, the Times, as well as papers including the Telegraph. So yeah. Pretty well tested, an ostrich attack led to Johnny Cash's painkiller addiction. Yeah. Starmer urged to disavow Lord Mandelson by union leaders. Yeah, but just keep going, because it's so hilarious that he's brought back genuine vampiric character, thinking that that's somehow going to improve things. The Queen did a Zoom thing. Prince Harry's talked about unresolved trauma. The Telegraph rolls its eyes at that, but we're talking about a man who was forced to walk alongside his mother's coffin at a public funeral when he was a child. Telegraph poorly reports on a suicide again. Rachel Riley claims that Corbyn supporters tried to get her sacked. I mean, I can't talk about that case. It's an ongoing legal case, but... I regret we won't have a chance to face Joanna's killer, says father. Ogre of the Ardennes, who admitted slaying British student in 1990, dies before he can stand trial, is the really unpleasant way the Telegraph writes that. An Israeli driver ploughed into a Palestinian as his vehicle was pelted with stones by an angry mob, is the way the Telegraph frames this thing. Video footage of the incident showed a group of Palestinian men hurling rocks at the car before it veered off the road and knocked over one of them. The Palestinian has not been identified yet, so, as usual, the Telegraph takes very clear sides there. Not good. Not good. Yeah, no speaking on the Rachel Riley thing. I can't either because it would just not go well. Lawyer who sued Chevron in contempt trial. Legal battle over pollution in Ecuador could set terrifying precedent for fights against global giants. I'm into it. Yeah, let's make global giants be scared. Yep, seriously problematic framing. Absolutely. Here is an amazing picture. A Himalayan griffon, a type of vulture, stalks along a road with apparently sinister intent in the state of Uttarakhand, North India. Look at that. Look at that chonker. You don't want to mess with him. Is that friend of Epstein, Peter the Belt Mandelson? It is indeed. Anti-coup poet dies shortly after arrest in Myanmar, is the way the Telegraph writes this. Ket Thai, 45, who wrote poetry in an active resistance to military rule, died in detention overnight after being interrogated on Saturday by soldiers. Yeah. Just a coincidence, isn't it? Yeah, that is a Pokemon. It does look like a Pokemon. Himalayan Griffin. I would not want to mess with that guy. Shirley Page in the letters page, right? Oh, no, we won't get a letters page yet. Michael Nazir Ali says the church should protect our heritage, not denounce it. It's not denouncing it. The Church of England is suggesting it might put plaques on things to say, by the way, this guy was a slave trader or whatever. It's not exactly denouncing, is it? Sherelle Jacobs says the Tories' new provincial coalition is constructed on foundations of sand. The party is playing a risky game by assuming politics is now a battle between towns and liberal cities. She's correct on that. Jacob Rees-Mogg writes in from the 18th century. The Queen's speech this year will represent the return of democratic sovereignty to the UK. This motherfucker. In the Queen's speech, there are so many anti-democratic things, including them trying to bring in ID card requirements or ID requirements to vote. Fuck this guy. Fuck this government. Right, in the letters, there's some anti-trans stuff, as you'd expect. It's the Telegraph. But there's a letter here on the pursuit of love. Shirley Page writes, Sir, I was looking forward to the pursuit of love on television, but after a few minutes had to give up because first, the hairstyles were all wrong, and secondly, they were hunting foxes in midsummer with all the leaves on the trees. How can the BBC get things so wrong? Well, part of this is to do. It's very difficult to film at the moment because of COVID, and they had to film when they could film. Fuck off, Shirley. Chris King writes, like Richard Booth, my wife and I were depressed when we found a new Bosch Tassimo coffee machine had been made in China. We had naively assumed it was either made in Germany or Britain. Fucking hell. Will Doran writes, there has never been a myth that Britain stood alone against the Nazis. The whole nation would join Vera Ling singing, The Empire too, we can depend on you. No, Will, the point is that people like to pretend that the Soviet Union had nothing to do with it. Fucking hell. You fucking... Lois Mears of Cambridge, right, here's the really pathetic warning that this is an anti-trans letter. Sir, when I was young, I desperately wanted to be a boy. I was never a girly girl. I had glasses with thick lenses, greasy hair and bandy legs, and was the proverbial wallflower in all dances in our neighbourhood. Being a boy seemed to be the only option, as I didn't feel like a girl. I am so grateful that in the 1940s there was no recognition of gender dysphoria, as I have had a wonderfully fulfilling life as a woman with a family which I could never have achieved had I changed gender. How can young people today realise how special they are as they are when they are persuaded that they should become someone they can never be? fuck off, fuck off. She might have been fine, but there are many other people from that era who may have taken their lives early because they couldn't be who they wanted to be. My mum's first boyfriend ended up transitioning and is much happier for it. And you're talking 1970s there, right? So, like, late 70s, yeah, mid to late 70s. I mean, Jesus Christ. People just don't understand how hard this stuff is. Like, it's just ridiculous and pathetic. Yeah, famously, no info about trans people was in the Nazi book burnings. I know, this stuff is just like... They bang on about how we mustn't deny history and all this kind of stuff, but they do when it's, Industrial Pet, hold on. It's a problem that kids keep getting told they're special, or the problem that they're not told they're special enough? I can't keep up. Trans people just appeared in 2014. Yeah, that's it, just like that. Boom. There they are. Charles Moore... writes a whole thing about the butchers in his village for some reason. In the features and arts, who is the Prince Harry we can't see? As the Duke of Sussex launches his new documentary series about mental health, Bryony Gordon looks at what it tells us about his current state of mind and why he has no regrets about giving that explosive Oprah interview. Right, okay, grand. How to get rid of re-entry anxiety, from giving cautious hugs to blowing out candles. Rosa Silverman explains how to put guests at ease when we move indoors. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is making light of anxiety, frankly. Mr. Gump, Charles Moore has taken over Prince Philip as Britain's most alive dead man. Well, yeah, but also there's a couple of Daily Mail columnists who give him a run for his money. Right, Telegraph's decided to write about chuggy, which is the new Gen Z insult. Originally coined by Los Angeles software developer Gabby Rasson when she was a high school student back in 2013. It was a category that didn't exist, she said. There was a missing word that was on the edge of my tongue, and nothing came to describe it. I had nothing to describe it, and chuggy came to me. How it sounded fit the meaning. It's just like, it's like being basic, but like more so. So if you have tasseled earrings, statement trainers, designer logos, denim jackets, slogan wear, you are chuggy. Who gives a fuck? I mean, it's just like, A, it's a TikTok thing, right? It's become big on TikTok. B, it's great. Fuck me. I love it. Let Gen Z say how shit millennials are, just as we said how shit the boomers and Gen X were. It's like, fine. Young people should be embarrassed by the generations above them and think we're a fucking joke. 100% behind it. Give a fuck. Another feature, with a seat on Elon Musk's rocket at stake, sibling rivalry has hit new galaxies. Two brothers locked in rivalry, a single glittering prize. 20-something middle-class lads from Wiltshire are engaged in a clash that could set one of them on a skyward trajectory. I'll give a fuck. Tara writes, I am too online and have never seen this. I've come across it, but I spend too much time on TikTok. Imagine wanting to go on Elon Musk's death rocket, I know. Suzanne Moore writes, have the decency to talk to us with class, not just about class. We can go back to Thatcher and her union busting, or the Blairite appeal to the middle classes. We can talk about post-industrialisation and huge economic forces, or we can talk about the feel of the country, more gogglebox, less globalised. Stock phrases are thrown around: traditional heartlands, the commuter belt, working class base. But who does this help? If the Labour mission is to take back votes, which are somehow owed, this can only fail. This is not how many of you voting, or indeed political parties. Yeah, it's just trying to get us to avoid talking about class. After 50 years, the plain, unvarnished morals of Roger Hargreaves' Mr. Men and Little Miss books are exactly what youngsters need, says child psychologist Elizabeth Kilby. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Leslie Sharp, the actress, says, let's not dig into roles for older women anymore. She tells Lewis Wise about her complex new thriller and how the media patronises Northerners. Ben Lawrence is angry about the use of pop music in dramas on the back of Pursuit of Love. In the obits, Major Jeff Beadle, Marine who was wounded and captured after leading a wartime attack on Brack Island in the Adriatic. He has died age 99. Colin Church, Kenya PR Supremo, oversaw the protection of the black rhino and other species in the Aberdares. Richard Shepherd, headmaster, a pillar of York Minster, and composer who ranged from sacred music to opera. And Lloyd Price, this is the obit that should have been bigger. Pioneer of rock in the 50s who had a UK hit with Personality. Yeah, but he also wrote Lordy Miss Claudie in 1952, which is just an incredible classic. Oh, cool. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, check out Mark's synth creation. I'm into it. Class discourse. What if nerds meant things but the meaning was different? Yeah, I know. In the television reviews, don't stop them now. Inside number 9 is as inventive as ever. I'm not going to read that because I haven't watched it yet and I don't want to be spoiled on it. What to watch? Hospital, 9 p.m. is their recommended show. And All That Glitters, Britain's next jewellery star, which is what I'll be watching later, as Kid in the Room is really enjoying it. Yeah, Lloyd Price, huge figure. Agreed, Mark Kenosis. Right, that was the Telegraph. To me, 2 things. 1, fucking awful. 2, massively overpriced for how much reading you get in it. It's £2.50, the Telegraph, and admittedly, they have a separate business and sports section, but nonetheless, it's just not good. Minus all the noughts out of 10 from Ged Station for Daily Telegraph. Let me do the roll call before we get on to the Times and the Daily Mail. I am the Broken Bottle Boy. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. Episodes of this show, TPT, go up on YouTube every evening. So if you miss you've missed part of today's show, or you want to rewatch anything, or if you just want to share them and tell other people to watch TPT, which would be massively helpful to me, they're all on the YouTube page. Let me drop the link for that. La, 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 la. I'm just going to drop the link for yesterday's show, and then you can get to the channel from there. Boom. Right. In the mod squad today, it is SK the Crusader. Of course, every day I recommend this, but I will continue to do so. I hugely recommend SK's streams. They're really good. So yeah, if you're not following him here, you should be. In the chat, Anna in the Dark. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Arid Tarax, Aiton, Bad Motivator, Broxlaw, Carbot14XYZ, Chris McRae, Commander Root, Dan Jones, 3142, Arabs, Ged Station, Glycolic Moment, Industrial Pet, Jordan DH, Chronotherm, Mark Kenosis, Mercutio UK, Mr. Gump, Red Tick Seed, Salinka Maya, Snur, Storm Unity, Torms, Taya Wrights, the newly rechristened Use of Weapons, VN K, Virgo Pros, Yuan, and the excellent Zoe Brings Bacon. Thank you all for being here on this Tuesday show. And special thanks to Use of Weapons for being today's sponsor of the magazine special, which was on White Dwarf magazine. If you missed that, check it out on YouTube later when I stick it out. Good turnout. Yeah, I really appreciate the turnout here. So yes. Okay, reviews. Use of Weapons, half the price of White Dwarf, which has nice models and no transphobia. Yeah. Red Tick Seed, minus 69. Mr. Gump, minus all the 69s. Slinker Maya, minus all the 69s just for the fucking transphobic letter. Mark Kenosis, minus disturbing real life Pokemon out of 10. Industrial Pet, minus 250. Terrorites, minus however much I would pay to see that Pokemon. Right, so now we're going to drop into the Times, see what fuckery is going on there today. Okay, so here is the Times. Today's Times goes at the top of the page with sushi, salad or hummus. Why that healthy lunch is bad for you. A, it's not. B, this is just an article in Times 2 that's promoting a guy who's done a book saying, don't eat preserved foods. Or processed foods, sorry. Almost all foods are processed in some kind. And as someone made the point to me on Twitter earlier, it's a good point. These fuckers rarely complain about wine, for instance, which is obviously a processed thing. Top of the page story is Rocket Fuel Queen Speech will pledge to level up education. This is obviously now been superseded by the Queen's Speech actually happening. A lot of shit in there. Use of Weapons. To avoid a bad diet, I simply eat dust. Mark Kenosis, all the times. I imagine this will be quite good. Eat a healthy lunch by eating fresh flowers from your local cemetery. Main picture is a picture of scenes from Gaza. expect some really disturbing spin from the Times, of course. On the right-hand side of the page, Rayner could oust you from the top job, Starmer was told. So reports on the internal wranglings in the Labour Party. Slinker Meyer, also classes as fuck. Only with those with money and or time can make everything fresh from scratch. Yeah, exactly. And some things aren't worth making fresh from scratch. You know, people who make their own mayonnaise, you just think, who fucking has the time? Like, also, your own mayonnaise will never be as good as mayonnaise made by actual, like, you know, in a massive factory. It just won't. It's like this fucking thing. Oh, I'll do homemade pizzas. Fucking whatever. Right. Page 3. My cheating parents help my writing. David Sanderson talks to Jacqueline Wilson. From church mouse to party animal, before the experiment they had been shy, timid creatures. With a flick of a switch, they became party animals that craved each other's company. Scientists have provided a glimpse to the ultimate icebreaker, a device that creates an instant rapport between two individuals. Its usefulness is limited, as it only works in mice. The mice were genetically modified so that neural circuits that play a role in social relationships became more active when exposed to light. Fucking hell. Mr. Gump makes banging homemade pizzas. Yeah, alright, I get that. I'm not a fan of gonna make your own mayonnaise. They don't show the mice. You can make good homemade pizzas, right? But it's a lot of fucking effort, and most people's homemade pizzas are shit. I've made a decent homemade pizza in the past, but you know, come on. And I like homemaking stuff. I do, but you know. Anyway, moving on. The Queen has been going on about the time as a kid that she won a life-saving award. First one to win it. Surprised that they invented it for her. Tara writes, Mr. Gump, I feel you're gonna have to make us a pizza to prove it. Prove it. Mr. Gump is Italian. His real name is Signor Grumpilio. Yeah, nice. Here's a really nice picture of of just Oldswater in the Lake District. Beautiful. At the big left shitpost meetup, I will absolutely make you all pizza. Just like a mama used to make. Yes, good. Love it, Mr. Gump. Right, moving on. Page 6 and 7. Is Labour's double act back on track? Far from it, say insiders. Yeah, he's still up shit creek over there. And then they provide some analysis from Quentin Letts, one of the worst humans alive. Dozens of officers joining the search for weapon used to murder PCSO. It's really horrible. The inquiry is continuing into Boris Johnson's £15,000 holiday to Mustique. He'll get away with it. He always gets away with it. More on that rail firm using a pretend bonus email to do a security check. West Midlands Trains chose to test staff employees' cybersecurity by sending them an email that promised a pay bonus for their work during the pandemic. The email contained a link to a thank you message from Julian Edwards, the managing director. When employees clicked the link, however, they received an email telling them that there was actually no bonus on offer, and the original message had been a phishing simulation test. Absolute fuckers. Just really horrible. Quentin fucking Letts boots computer screen. Odious shitty little man. Agreed, Christopher McKay. That email thing was evil. Agreed, Tara writes. Apparently, Birmingham sees the most cases of crash for cash car insurance fraud than any other area. That comes from the Insurance Fraud Bureau, which I suspect is run by the insurance industry. It analysed 2.7 million motor insurance claims made between October 2019 and the end of last year, and identified more than 170,000 that could be linked to suspected cash for crash networks. I broke then. I just fell apart. Activist uses glue to derail Extinction Rebellion trial as their coverage of that story. Officer had sex with drunk woman he was driving home. A uniformed police officer accused of having sex with a drunk woman in his unmarked police car after she was ejected from a nightclub told a court that she forced himself upon him. Lee Cocking has denied misconduct in public office after he offered the woman a lift home on Christmas Eve in 2017 and allegedly had sex with her in his car. The woman, who cannot be named, said she was very drunk during the night out in Weston-super-Mare in Somerset, and that though her memory of the night was not complete, she knew that they had definitely had sex in the Vauxhall Astra. Cocking, a married man from Cheddar, Somerset, said he did not willingly have sex with the woman. He said she pulled down her jeans, unzipped his flies, and straddled him in the car. The jury heard that the woman, who was 30 at the time, was so drunk that she was told to leave the Skinny Dippers nightclub. The framing of the story by the Times is appalling, and that she then caused a disturbance outside the bar. She was spoken to by a female officer before Cocking, an acting inspector that night, turned up at 3:10 a.m. He was wearing full uniform, body armour, and carrying a police radio, the court was told. He managed to calm the woman down and then offered to take her home because he feared that she was vulnerable in her drunken state. Oh, he feared she was vulnerable, did he? The woman said, I don't recall getting into the police car, but I know that when Sergeant Cocking offered to take me home, I believed him. I wouldn't have asked him for sex. He is a police officer. Ray Tully, QC for the defence, said that Cocking felt that he had been a victim of sexual assault. The woman said, Sergeant Cocking could have told me to get out of the car. I remember kissing Sergeant Cocking. He didn't ask me to stop, but I did pull back when his radio went off. She said she didn't immediately call the police next morning because she was embarrassed. However, it made me upset to realise the police officer shouldn't have sex in a car while on duty. I don't even know what he looked like, she said. I now wish I'd never phoned the police. It has just caused so much hassle. I felt for him as he did tell me not to say anything. Nothing bad happened to me. I wasn't raped. The trial continues. This is just such a weird story. And the reporting of it is just absolutely insane, isn't it? Because it just. But they'll say, "Oh, well, we reported it very fairly." Did the fuck? Just, there's so much awful stuff in here, I'm skipping some of it. Flying barn door eagles will be reintroduced to Norfolk coast. A bird of prey so large it is nicknamed the flying barn door is to be reintroduced to Norfolk in an attempt to revive a population that became extinct a century ago. The birds, which have a wingspan of up to 2.4 metres, were persecuted to eradication in England in the early 20th century, but were introduced in Scotland in the 70s and in a pilot project on the Isle of Wight in 2019. Excellent eagles. Yeah, she was drunk, but he was in a position of power. Exactly. Me and the Eagles will get on. Bezos rides ultra-rich super yacht wave. Jeff Bezos is having a yacht called the Y721 built. It will have its own support ship and helipad. Fucker. School reused secret film of teacher in £1.8 million payout row. A teacher at a leading public school who said that a fall at work left her disabled is being accused of faking £1.8 million compensation claim after she was secretly videoed throwing a ball for her dog. Lindsay Shaw, who worked at Mill Hill School for 30 years, broke her wrist when she slipped on a freshly mopped corridor where she had been speaking to a parent and pupil. The £35,000 a year school, which has counted the war correspondent Richard Dimbleby, Doctor Who actor Patrick Troughton and Sir Dennis Thatcher among its alumni, cursed place then, is now defending a £1.8 million lawsuit brought by Shaw over the accident. After the fall, Shaw, 60, who earned up to £100,000 a year as head of boarding at the North London school, needed surgery on her wrist. She says that she has since developed chronic pain in her right arm, hand, shoulder and back. She said that following surgery, her right hand and wrist were highly sensitive and she could not tolerate them being touched, and that had her continuing troubles ruin her career. The foundation that runs the school had the lawyers for the school produce secret video surveillance evidence allegedly showing her throwing a ball for her dog with her right hand. The school's legal team claimed that the video evidence includes footage of Shaw driving a Land Rover with both hands on the wheel and carrying her shopping with both hands. Sinister, isn't it? Sinister. Yeah, do they not know that sometimes it might be better than other times? This is fucking disgusting. William Hague writes, Scots need to know what independence means. Fuck off. Giles Corrin is awful. Melanie Phillips is awful. Hugo Rifkin says levelling up will come back to bite the Tories, make red wall towns look too desirable, and they'll soon be colonised by tofu munching graduates who vote Labour. In the birthdays today, Jeremy Paxman is 71. Lady Rachel Billington, the writer, is 79. Carla Blade, the jazz composer and pianist, is 84. Robert Burns, president of the Law Society of England and Wales until 2017, is 65. Eric Burden, singer-songwriter in The Animals, is 80. Stefano Dominicali. The president and chief executive of Formula One, is 56. Ruth Edwards, the Conservative MP for Rushcliffe, is 37. Louis Farrakhan, leader of the Nation of Islam, is 88. Pam Ferris, the actress, is 73. Sir Julian Fawkes, Chancellor of the High Court and Lord Justice of Appeal, is 66. John Griffith Jones, chairman of Step Change Debt Charity, is 67. Valerie Grove, journalist and author, is 75. Professor Anthony Hewish, the astronomer and Nobel Prize winner for physics, is 97. Dr. Robert Jarvik, the scientist who developed the first permanent artificial heart, is 75. Julian Joseph, the jazz pianist and composer, is 55. Linda Merrick, principal and professor at the Royal Northern College of Music, is 58. Nick Moberly, chief executive of Multiple Sclerosis Society, is 58. John Parrott, the snooker world champion, is 57. Lord Narendra Patel, the obstetrician, is 83. Claire Pelham, the chief executive of the Epilepsy Society, is 62. Professor Christopher Perrins, ornithologist, the new encyclopedia of birds and warden of swans in the royal household, is 86. Jason Quealy, the cyclist, Olympic gold medalist, is 51. Ian Redpath, the cricketer for Australia until 1976, is 80. Mort Sahl, the comedian and actor, is 94. Nina Stem, the soprano, is 58. Holly Valance, the actress and singer, is 38. Valentino, the fashion designer, is 89. And Judith Weir, the composer and master of the Queen's music, is 67. On this day in 1985, 56 people died and more than 200 were injured when a fire started in a wooden stand at Bradford City's football ground. And the last word in this column today goes to Walt Whitman, the poet and journalist from Drum Taps, 1865. He wrote, "Beautiful that war and all its deeds of carnage must in time be utterly lost, that the hands of the sisters death and night incessantly softly wash again and ever again this soiled world." What a goth. See you, Slinker. Have a good one. Good to see you. Use your weapons. Wishes Jerry and Paxton a very happy fuck off. Mr. Gump wants a sound clip of me saying Giles Corrin is awful. Just the way it is, man. Chronic pain is not static, says Slinkermare. I absolutely agree. See you, Tara Wright. See you tomorrow. You're only missing the Daily Mail. Catch up on that on YouTube. Right. Yeah, various... Pret aims to cater for all taste by moving to Tesco. Tesco's going to start selling Pret things. Greg's profits are heading back to pre-pandemic levels. The city is healing. Where are the obits? In the obits, Peter France, Yorkshireman who was a JP in Fiji before overcoming his agnosticism to become the face of Everyman, the religious affairs program. And Malcolm Cecil, jazz musician and producer whose synthesizer shaped an exciting new sound for Stevie Wonder. And in the sport, all-English final heading to Portugal. That's the Champions League final. And tests must come before IPL, says Giles. Right, that's the times. Give me your scores for the times. For me, it's -69, a classic negative nice. And so, inevitably, we crash towards the Daily Mail, our final paper for the day. Four Fishes is Yuan's review of the Times. The Daily Mail gives you your ultimate 2021 hay fever survival guide, puddings to help you lose the pounds. The main story is reporting on what the Prime Minister said yesterday. Effectively, it's a pretty straight story. And on the right-hand side of the page, countdown to court, Rachel Riley's libel battle with ex-Corbyn. Use of weapons gives the Times a troll out of 10. GetStation gives it -100. Mark Gnosis -100. Gregarious mice. Daily Mail reports on the Queen and her life-saving award that she received when she was a 14-year-old. Corbyn aides tweet sparked flood of abuse and threats, Rachel Riley tells libel court. A lot of space for what Rachel Riley says, very little space for any comeback from the woman that she is suing, which is Laura Murray, the former Corbyn aide. on pages 6 and 7, 0 COVID deaths in England, no lives lost, up for the first time since the pandemic started. I mean, that is good news. More of the Daily Mail bigging up its own campaign for a COVID memorial. It's like, who gives a shit? More stuff on the Bill Gates divorce. Extremely partial coverage of the events in Israel. Poll axe Starmer faces the fury of Labour's hard left. Now Brown lays down the gauntlet of Scotland. Very sad story, of course, about the whale that died after getting stuck in the Thames. Alison Boshoff, one of the most ridiculously named hacks in the Daily Mail stable, writes about Lord Berners, who is the inspiration for Lord Merlin in The Pursuit of Love. Richard Littlejohn is awful. Let's not even bother with that. They hide the 15K inquiry story on Boris Johnson on page 21. More stuff on David Hockney. A ridiculous double-page spread. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the wokest dresser of them all? Fuck off. Stalin's Spitfire, wrecked in Russia in 1945. Iconic aircraft is brought home and given a £2 million makeover. It's the only Spitfire that is flying with the Soviet stars. It's a Spitfire Mark 9. It was one of 1,328 British fighters supplied to the Red Army from 1942 to 1945. Prue Leith's MP's son is being hauled up in court for letting his dog chase deer. I wondered if there was a bad story about him coming up when he was featured in a very sort of arse-kissing relative values with her in the Sunday Times this week. On this day, May 11th, 2021, let's look back to the Daily Mail archive from May 11th, 1940, when it wrote, Mr. Winston Churchill is Britain's new war prime minister. He took office last night after Mr. Chamberlain had handed his resignation to the King. Until earlier this morning, he was forming his war cabinet of Conservative, Labour and Liberal members. On this day in 1981, the Daily Mail wrote, BBC coverage of the royal wedding of Prince Charles to Lady Diana will make television history by being fronted by a woman. The 500 million viewers watching the Beebs worldwide live transmission will be guided through the pomp and ceremony by 36-year-old Angela Rippon. The Daily Mail chooses to say happy birthday to Laetitia Castor, 43, the French model turned actress, a former Victoria's Secret angel, played Brigitte Bardot in the 2010 film Gainsbourg, A Heroic Life. In 1999, she became the face of France when she was chosen as the model for the bust of Marianne, pictured the symbol of the French Republic that stands outside town halls across the country. And also to Valentino, who is 89, fashion designer best known as just Valentino. His style was defined by Zoot's opera as a teenager when he was inspired by a performer in a red velvet gown. Also born on this day, but born in 1888 and dying in 1989, is Irving Berlin, the Russian-born American composer and lyricist. Also, Natasha Richardson, 1963 to 2009, the London-born Tony Award-winning actress. She was the daughter of Vanessa Redgrave and wife of Liam Neeson. One critic compared her husky voice to a caress of honey and iron filings. Weird analogy. She died aged 45 following a skiing accident in Canada. On May 11th, 1963, the Beatles enjoyed their first number one on the official UK singles chart with From Me to You. And in 1981, Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical Cats opened in the West End. Quote of the day, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. And that was Harry S. Truman. And joke of the day, how do you clean a chicken? With an egg wash. No, thank you. They're still trying to sell that cruise, which includes West End style shows, dining and drinks, and a comedy show from John Bishop, as well as a robot bartender. And where does it cruise round? The British Isles. Very cursed. Hay fever guide. I actually wish that stuff in that was good because I could do to fight my own hay fever. Rory Cadlin-Jones, who I do like, but I wish he wasn't doing features with the Daily Mail, tells Lucy Elkins he's had a shattering double diagnosis, but cancer was so terrifying that Parkinson's didn't seem as bad. Rory Catherine-Jones is using artificial intelligence to monitor his symptoms, is the spin they put on that. They try and sell you stuff for better intestines. In the recipes, lime cheesecake, meringue pie, you might need the intestine stuff if you eat that. Avocado chocolate cake looks quite nice. TV pick of the day is Brit Awards, 8 p.m. ITV. I mean, awful. John Bishop, the world's plazziest scouser, Christopher Stevens in the TV reviews gives 3 families 4 stars, and Inside Number 9 4 stars. In the cartoons, Garfield is annoyed by John's eating. Chloe and Chloe and her friend are drinking and talking about men. And in Fred Bassett is in the car with his family, and the sat-nav isn't very good. They're trying to sell you a Bluetooth speaker, quite ugly Bluetooth speaker, for a ridiculous price of £99. Absolute rip-off. In the straight-to-the-point letters, Kevin Colney of Leicester says, "Just think how much better the Tories would have done in Hartlepool if Boris hadn't redecorated his Downing Street flat." Fuck off. John Rosby says, "After the pasting Keir Starmer got, posing with wallpaper was not a good idea." Vera Seaman says, "Could somebody remind the Labour leader that rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic did not stop the ship from going down?" Charles Houghton says, "French President Macron may shower praise on Napoleon, but he'll meet his Waterloo at the next election." Lionel Drew says, "Britannia rules the waves, while France waves the rules." Fuck off. Gillian Gatehouse says, "So much for Harry and Meghan telling us all how to live an environmentally friendly life when they give Archie a bunch of helium balloons for his birthday, John Evans says, "Hasn't George Clooney got enough bread?" Mrs. T. Newman says, "The RAF plans to have 0 carbon emissions in 2 decades. Electric planes would make mid-air fueling interesting." Oh, God. And Mrs. R.O. Grady, says, "The Perfect Woman, a composite of the most popular features in plastic surgery, looks boring. It's the little imperfections in our faces that make us attractive." I mean, that's actually true. Yeah, awful. I swear all these Daily Mail letters are written by particularly stupid AI, says use the weapons. I wish that were true. Vera Seaman, yes, I'm afraid. SK the Crusader, that was the real name. Hang on, let me just pull up the proof here. In the recipes, baked tomato, mozzarella, and basil risotto, which I guess isn't too bad. They're trying to sell you really ugly trousers. These ones available in charcoal, sand, navy, Air Force, and mint. Flattering. A vacuum cleaner that's good with pet hair, various walk-in baths. A thing to beat diarrhea. Weird. No coin ads today. Very disappointing that there's no coin ads. And in the sport, derby turmoil. EFL rush to relegate Rooney's side for breaking finance rules. Rams face big points deduction next season if move fails. Plus, put England before IPL, warns Giles. And Fulham flop till they drop. Fulham 0, Burnley 2. Air Force is not a colour. Yeah, 0 coins. What the fuck? What the fuck? Right, so that was the Daily Mail. For me, a triple negative nice. So minus 69, 69, 69. Right, I just do the finishing roll call as you do the scores. And, just leaves me to thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday stream. I am, of course, the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter, @Broken Bottle Boy. In the mod squad was SK the Crusader, the fine, excellent streamer, producer of fine and excellent streams. Do follow him here, do follow him on Twitter, and do get involved with whatever his next stream is. I'm sure he will tell you what's coming up later in the week. In the chat, another TT viewer, thank you for being here. Arid Tracks, good to see you. Aiton, thank you. Bad Motivator, or as I should say, valued subscriber, Bad Motivator, thank you. Broxlaw, Carbot14XYZ, thanks for being here too, you guys. Chris McRae, thanks a lot for joining us. Commander Root, good to see you. Dan Jones, always a pleasure in the chat. 3142, of course. Ged Station, and another excellent streamer, well worth your time. Glycolic Moment, thank you for being here. I Can't Control It, good to see you. Industrial Pet, thanks for joining the chat and also for getting involved in the Discord. JDLB, good to see you. Jordan DH, always a pleasure to have you in the chat. Lady Baskers, old school visitor to this chat. Mark Kenosis, always extremely good value in the chat. Mr. Gump as well, a quality streamer and chat participant. Rec, good to see you. Snurk, good to see you too. Storm Unity, thank you. Torms, use of weapons, recently regenerated. Comrade Wolfie becomes use of weapons. As I mentioned earlier, today's sponsor of the magazine special. V&K, good to see you too. Virgo Pros, Yuan, the Fishmeister General there, and of course the ever excellent Zoe brings bacon. If, like use of weapons, you want to ensure that we have a good magazine special, and there will be a magazine special on Friday, and the gap is still there to choose what magazine it will be, go to paypal.me/conquest of the useless and throw some coins in there. Tara writes is off the chat now doing other things, but thank you to him yesterday for his contribution of £5. That kind of stuff, it keeps the show running, and I really appreciate it. Catch SK on Thursday from 7 p.m. in reviewing Paul Mason's Rare Earth. Oh my god, one of the worst sex scenes ever written, says Mark Kenosis. Oh my god, I am into that. Right, okay. Only from a, like, this is disturbing and disgusting frame of mind. Incidentally, SK, we need to chat soon about setting up a guest appearance by you on an evening stream by me. Ratings for the Daily Mail: 2 busted Keith faces out of 10 by use of weapons, 2 dogs from Dan Jones, 4 fishes from Yuan, minus Vera Seaman from Dan Jones, 3142. Mr. Gump, they need a thing to help their readers stop diarrhea on the account that everyone who reads it regularly shits their pants with rage. It's a minus 88 from Bad Motivator. Yeah, I'll drop you I'll DM you about it later, SK. Cheers. Alright, everybody. One last thing. Here is the Discord link again. If you are not a member of the Discord, get involved. Yeah, really enjoyed looking at White Dwarf. Do chuck some coins in the PayPal and tell me what magazines you want me to review next. We'll have a magazine review on Friday. Until then, catch me on the Discord or on Twitter. See you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Thanks a lot, all.